Tonight, breaking news, Hurricane Ian slams into Florida as a Category 4 hurricane, making landfall along Florida's southwest coast. Winds at 150 miles per hour, the strongest September hurricane in 2 decades. The images coming in at this hour of catastrophic damage, a life-threatening storm surge along the coast. We're now seeing dangerous winds and massive flooding in Fort Myers. Homes destroyed, elsewhere cars disappearing underwater. Reports of families trapped, one on the second floor of their home. Fire trucks trying to navigate through the deep waters. Some communities suspending emergency operations, saying it's just too dangerous to answer calls. Tonight, the power already out for more than 1 million customers in Florida. And the other major concern at this hour, the tornado watch is in effect into the night. Airport closures, the ripple effect now, and this hurricane now headed inland, headed straight for Orlando before then tracking north. Alerts at this hour up across Florida, Georgia, and now the Carolinas. Our meteorologists Ginger Z and Rob Marciano both on the ground again tonight with our team across Florida. Also, the acting deputy director of NOAA's National Hurricane Center right here with us tonight. What concerns him most as we head into the evening hours? The other major news this Wednesday night, the U.S. State Department now urging Americans to leave Russia immediately. The American embassy warning Russians may force Americans with dual citizenship into military service. And the allegations tonight involving potential Russian sabotage of the pipeline that would deliver Russian natural gas into Europe. Ian Panel inside Ukraine tonight. In this country, the major news tonight on Alzheimer's, a potential breakthrough, a promising new drug, and what it's shown so far. Also tonight, police responding to reports of an active shooter inside a hospital. The search for a famous American skier who disappeared in the Himalayas is now over. Her body recovered, and we now learn what happened. And Katie Couric tonight revealing her very personal battle, what she said.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here tonight. And we are thinking of the millions in the path of this hurricane, the Category 4 hurricane slamming into Florida's southwest coast this afternoon. Ian making landfall right near Fort Myers, 3:05 p.m., winds of 150 miles an hour. One of the strongest September hurricanes to strike the U.S. in decades. Already tonight, catastrophic damage, storm surges that have destroyed homes and wiped away cars. Devastating winds, and now the rain. Up to 30 inches of rain expected in some places. Still a Category 4 hurricane as we come on tonight. Winds 130 miles an hour. It is just inching across Florida now. 8 miles an hour, moving very slowly toward the very populated Orlando area. It could still be a hurricane when it gets there. Images of the eye walls that came ashore in Pine Island, Florida. AccuWeather video tonight of the fierce wind and storm surge from just before the hurricane made landfall. In Fort Myers, evidence of that storm surge just ahead of the hurricane. Cars and backyards in this neighborhood disappearing under several feet of water. In Fort Myers, that powerful winds ripping the roof off of this home the moment the eye wall hit Placida, Florida. The pictures right here, the torrential rains, winds destroying this building. A traffic camera capturing landfall in Punta Gorda. Trees blowing and the gusting rains. Tonight, more than 1.5 million customers in the dark. And look at the sparks there flying near these lines in downtown Naples. There in Naples and in several other communities tonight, curfews now in effect. First responders finding it very difficult at this hour. The storm surge flooding this Naples fire station, in fact. The hurricane, as we said, now headed inland. Orlando now bracing, where many took cover in hotels. And we have told you here, this could be a Category 1 hurricane still when it arrives. Then, as you can see, they're tracking north, and there are states of emergency tonight in Georgia and in the Carolinas as well. Our team across the storm zone, senior meteorologist Rob Marciano, leading us off tonight from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Here in Florida, where Hurricane Ian made landfall as one of the most powerful storms to hit the U.S. in American history. Roofs torn off homes, cars submerged underwater, and dangerous winds knocked down power lines as an enormous Hurricane Ian engulfs Florida. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez is in hard-hit Fort Myers.
The pool area of this hotel is now part of the Gulf of Mexico.
Catastrophic storm surge. Flood waters could reach as high as as 18 feet. The Weather Channel's Jim Cantori battles dangerous winds in Punta Gorda. He joins us.
I think I'm just going to come in here for a second.
The latest storm track, where dangerous Hurricane Ian is heading next. Classrooms turned into bedrooms. We visit shelters and speak to families riding out the storm together.
My main focus was getting him to safety.
And remembering legendary CBS newsman Bill Plant, who covered more than half a century of history.
This is the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell, reporting tonight from Tampa, Florida.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. And as we come on the air tonight, the state of Florida is being pummeled by Hurricane Ian. The massive Category 4 storm made landfall just hours ago with winds of 150 miles per hour. Ian slammed ashore north of Fort Myers with dangerous winds and catastrophic storm surge. The storm is moving inland and dumping tremendous amounts of rain along the I-4 corridor. And to get a better understanding of just how big Ian is, this is what the storm looks like from space. The powerful hurricane covering almost the entire state of Florida. And the strength of the storm is astonishing. A hurricane hunter from the National Weather Service, whose job it is to fly into the eye of hurricanes, described the flight into Ian as the roughest of his career. Ian has knocked out power to more than 1.5 million customers throughout the state. And we have team coverage tonight, and CBS's Manuel Bojorquez is going to start us off from hard-hit Fort Myers. Good evening, Manuel.
Breaking news tonight, our special edition of Nightly News from the storm zone in Florida as Hurricane Ian slams the state. Hurricane Ian making landfall in southwestern Florida as an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm. The fifth strongest ever to hit the U.S. Winds of 150 miles an hour, catastrophic storm surge and flooding, roofs ripped off, homes and streets submerged, cars flooded, appliances washed out of homes, a whole fire station underwater, and the stunning view from space, satellite images as the monster storm made its approach. The life-threatening storm surge, up to 18 feet expected along parts of Florida's southwest coast. More than 1 million customers without power, and that number only expected to grow as we move into the night. The state of emergency, some 2.5 million people under evacuation orders. The governor today telling residents, if you haven't gotten out, it's too late, and urging them to shelter in place to ride out the storm. Tonight, the new track as Ian begins its march across the state where it's headed next. Emergencies declared in Georgia and the Carolinas. Our team in place across the storm zone. Our special coverage begins right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, reporting tonight from Bradenton, Florida.
Good evening, everyone, from the southwest coast of Florida, where we are still being buffeted by Hurricane Ian. Just hours after the eye of the storm made its much-dreaded landfall south of us this afternoon. Blasting ashore near Cayo Costa, its fierce winds spinning at nearly 150 miles an hour. A major Category 4 storm now tied for the fifth strongest hurricane in U.S. history and continuing to sow damage as we come on the air. A jaw-dropping storm surge still sweeping ashore right now, though officials say it is peaking. It left waters flooded in Naples, inundating homes and cars. New damage pictures from the storm testifying to its strength. Power outages affecting more than 1 million customers, but it's American landfall just the beginning of Ian's strike on Florida. The now slightly weakened storm now marching towards Florida's east coast, where massive rains could spell the next leg of this long-played disaster.